Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're done talking about shit for brains, we can turn on we can start recording.
Yeah.
All right. My laptop obviously needs a break.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously needs a little rest. I don't know why.
Don't forget your charger.
I won't. Yeah, that was a saga.
Mm-hmm.
Glad I went weeks without a charger.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a brand new unit, so it handled it fine, but...
Mm-hmm.
Are we? We recording?
Yeah.
Oh, outstanding. Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, I just got out of an all-day retreat with my board of directors for the Health Education Center, and it was incredible to be in this space and to use it in the way that we did. And when I say incredible, I was not optimistic about the first few minutes because. So we talked about the words, right? You know, the bad words. So it turns out, and I don't think we covered this actually. The National Council of Nonprofits put an injunction in when that executive order was dropping, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't do that. It's unconstitutional. It's really not okay." And and basically injuncted it, stopped it, right at the outset. But the executive order itself had its impact, and moreover, it impacted my staff, my board, my staff, of course, and people that I work with. I'm not going to say it didn't impact me. I mean, I've gone through the list of words over several of these episodes because I think they're important to discuss. But what was happening in the room, right? We ended up essentially the administration has said, hey, these words and anyone who uses these words has a target on their back, right? You're going to get harassment from us because this is not the way we want people talking, and so you're like, yeah, I just don't know why people would be scared about it. Folks were bent out of shape in that room. Folks are really upset.
Yeah. And,
no matter skin color, no matter gender, no matter your story in life, they were ready to talk about it. And so what I found incredible was that the facilitator handled that right up front, like before introductions, before much of anything else. It's like, here's what's going to happen today, and let's address the elephant in the room. And it was just really well done. And so in addressing the elephant in the room, right, we got to level set, and folks had their cathartic moment about what they were feeling, about what they were experiencing, and it was out. And then we could talk about the video that was shared around with. I think I shared this with you, but I wanted to discuss it here. The National Council of Nonprofits. Right, and their legal counsel. There's a video that they put together with PANO, the Pennsylvania Association of Nonprofit Organizations, and they're just talking about how these executive orders are meant to enact fear. They're meant to discombobulate. They're meant to disorient, and it's an opportunity for them to see who will cow. Right? What organizations, now that these words have been, listed out there as dangerous or problematic, are making adjustments to their mission, right? To their mission statement, to the way that they interact with the world, the way they show up for the world, and and so this has been on the mind of me and my staff for weeks now. And it was nice to have the board members in the room, to have a face-to-face conversation around it, and then ultimately get to the place where, hey, it was voiced in the room. There are organizations who are 10 times our size that are doing very similar work, and they are making changes to their mission statements. I mean, they're getting rid of this language. They're just tweaking in very particular ways. It's still doing the same work, obviously, but they're just making sure that those words go away. And so the implication in there is our least risky choice of action is to really sort of get rid of diversity, equity. Let's get rid of this problematic language. And I said, listen, I just want to point out to everyone in the room, there are some other words on the list here right next to diversity and equity, right? Including BIPOC, including minority, including gender inclusivity, including indigenous, right? And these words describe our president. They describe the president of this organization. And so what's next, right? Someone comes along and says, hey, listen, we don't want anyone who reflects any of the words here to be in leadership, right? And I said, it's just like the Nimmler quote. It's just like that. If we cow to this language, if we cow to not observing our First Amendment rights to use the words that we wish to use and what we do is show up for communities, well, what's the next step then? Right? What does that really look like? And what are we communicating in terms of, hey, community, we're looking out for you, right? But we're willing to cow in this little way. And then what's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step until we can no longer meaningfully show up for the community, right?
Yeah.
So just that. And that conversation happened so early on in the retreat. And it really offered us an opportunity to get to a more meaningful conversation. But I literally pointed out, we're 20 minutes into it, I go, look at what this executive order is. It's not even legal what was done. There's nothing binding about not using this language. There's no ability that the government has at this point to rescind funds or enact a DEI investigation. And yet, we're all talking about the changes we need to make. Because the boogeyman went boo. Fear is real, man.
Yeah.
Fear is real. And if you're not at one with yourself or finding solace and strength in, I don't know, your own convictions, fear's going to get you.
Yep.
Have you seen this? Has this happened for you?
What?
I don't know, fear.
Have I experienced fear in like that way?
Maybe observing people who are just like scared out of their minds. It's really like processing information, executive function becomes difficult because fear is so pervasive.
Yeah, I have family members that are afraid. But all this stuff, I mean, I've talked to them a bunch about it, and they just, they go on and on and on and on and on about how afraid they are, which I listen to all the time. I just feel like that people just get so like tied up in the fear that they don't know how to act sometimes.
Yeah.
And they just sit there and they just wonder like, well, I don't want to do this anymore, but I would if I wasn't so afraid. It's like, why are you afraid of, really? Like,
this is it. Exactly.
Like, I don't know what you're really afraid of. It's not like they're going to come to your house and, like, steal your life or anything like that, or knock your door down. You can say whatever you want, really, and do whatever you want. That's the kind of the freedom of what this country provides or claims to provide, And I find it more annoying when people are afraid of stuff like that, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Right. I don't know, because for me, I don't try to get afraid about that stuff, because for starters, it's probably easier for me because it doesn't really affect me personally. But also, secondly, it's just what's the point of being afraid? Yeah. Like, I don't know what the point is. It's like there's certain things to be afraid of, but something like this, there's no fear that really has to be behind it. Yeah. Other than being cowardly, I don't know. That makes sense. I'm not calling people cowards. I'm just saying that it kind of, to me, makes it seem like they're just afraid of feels like they're more afraid of their own shadow than than like the actual thing itself. So when it's just really not there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an imagined fear. It's an imagined fear, and when you talk about cowardice, like I don't know what cowardice looks like, but I would feel like a coward if I said, "Oh goodness," right? this is going on over here, right, at the federal level, and or just like not even in my circle. And because I don't want it to come over here and impact me, I'm going to change who I am.
Yeah.
That's you over there are going to make me change who I am and how I show up at my core, my identity. The way I look out for myself, the way I express myself, the way I show up for the people I care about, all of that's going to change because of what you're doing over there. I'm not into it.
Yeah.
And it's like you say, that it doesn't add up. But there were times in my life, and I've been around people who hadn't worked on themselves, hadn't really sort of looked at what they're about, right? And so it goes to this saying, if you don't know what you stand for, you'll fall for anything.
Yep.
Right? And how critical the work of self-understanding is, right? Maybe there's a monument, an ancient monument that over the entranceway, it says "Know thyself," right? And I mean, it's critical. It's critical work. That is the work of every individual, to know themselves.
Yeah.
Right? How can you? I don't know. How can you lean into love? How can you avoid fear? How can you shape the world in the vision that you believe is right without doing that first?
Yeah. And I don't know, for me personally, I used to be a guy that used to be afraid of everything. And I just know that's what I used to be like. And I've personally made it a goal of mine to not be afraid of anything anymore. So I try not to be scared of much and of anyone or anything, because that was like 18 years of my life was just been out of shape of being afraid of the dumbest shit sometimes.
Yeah.
So I decided I just don't really want to do it anymore. So I mean, I don't know.
Well, it's dumb shit in retrospect. I mean, at the time, it was really salient for you, right? It was really present. Your body reacted. I don't know, you got goosebumps, or you had tunnel vision. Like, you couldn't see any other options but to run, but to flee, but to, just stop doing what you're doing or get away. When I teach about behavioral change, and because you're talking about not being scared anymore, it's effective a lot of times for there to be a replacement, right? So, if I may, what was it that you replaced your fear with? You said, I'm not doing fear anymore. I'm not going to be fearful anymore. What did you find to replace it?
Like, what do you mean? Like a different emotion?
So we were talking about smoking last night, right? And you're like, hey, this is mint. Like this tube here has got just literal mint in it.
Yeah.
And it's not a vape pen. It's not any of that.
No THC.
No THC. None of that.
Nothing. It's drug free.
And I wasn't asking. I wasn't judging. But you explained it to me. I'm like, cool. I wouldn't want you to smoke cigarettes at my place, right? And I think you get that. But I'm not here to judge. But see, you've created a replacement for yourself, right? Getting away from cigarettes. You found that what's it even called?
I think it's called Puff On or Puffin. Something like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know what it's called. I know it's Puff something. Puff. Okay. Puff On or Puffin.
Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yeah, it could be whatever. Puff. Like, I don't know. It could be whatever. It's something. I got it off Amazon. Okay.
But you've got a thing to replace smoking, your cigarettes, right? And maybe it's not the best option. Maybe it's, not going to work for you in the long term. I was seeing on your face and you're shaking your head. It's not.
It's not.
But it's something. You're trying to do something else in the place of. Yeah, what were you saying?
No, I killed that pen when I left.
Okay.
Your place. I literally had it for 4 days and it's already gone. Like, it's already empty.
Is it supposed to be recharged in that amount of time? Or? Yeah, okay.
I don't even know how it works.
Right.
All I know is that one's dead.
And just how much was it?
$20.
It was $20. Okay, is that like 2 packs of cigarettes?
That's one.
One
That's
pack of cigarettes.
$15. It's for a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like $5 cheaper.
Right. Yeah. Well, see, that's not going to work for you, right?
No.
Those substitutes really need to really need to step in, and yeah, it's tough when they don't. I mean, you can look at the long-term benefits, but it's, when people talk about return on investment, they almost never talk about the time horizon. They never talk about the time horizon. It's easy to look at, this example here, right? I'm smoking cigarettes. It takes care of me for, a pack of cigarettes might get me through 4 days. This thing got me through 4 days. This thing costs $20. This thing, a pack of cigarettes costs $15, right? I'm basically losing $5, right? But you can't know, and it'd be tough to calculate how many minutes of life did you gain in not smoking those cigarettes. And at the end of your life, what is that time worth to you? You know what I mean? It's something to consider, but it's something that you can never know. It's probably calculable.
Yeah,
right?
apparently for every time you take a drag of cigarettes, it's a minute off your life.
It's a minute off your life, every drag.
Apparently. Or something like that. I think it's something like that, but...
Sure.
So, I don't know. I've probably taken off like 2 hours off my life in total. It's just fine.
You think you've only taken 120 drags of...
Cigarettes?
Of cigarettes?
Oh, probably more. That doesn't seem like...
that doesn't quite seem like enough.
No, yeah. I've had like 10 packs of cigarettes since August to February.
Right. And how many puffs would you say are a cigarette?
How many do I usually get?
There's 20 cigarettes in a pack, right?
We're doing the math right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am. I mean,
that's fine. I think there's probably like 30 in a pack. I don't remember. It's like 20 or 30. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think it's 20.
Okay. So then...
Because I went, when I was 7 years old, I went into my mom's cigarette pack and I broke every one of the filters from the cigarette. But,
I'd probably take it in... I'd probably say like 10 inhales per cigarette.
So that's 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2,000 puffs, right? And if we divide that by 6, I was learning the other day about new math and about how that works. So if this is puffs and this is 60 minutes, that's 33 hours of life, right? That's a day and change.
Yeah.
There are comedians who'll say, well, they were the shittiest years anyway. Right? Like I was right at the edge of life, and is that another 1 day and a half fewer that I was hospitalized with lung cancer. I don't know, right? But
But you were going back a minute. You were asking me what I replaced fear with. Right?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I probably would say I replaced it with nothing. Like I replaced it with nothing. Probably more. To be completely transparent, probably more anger than fear now. Like if I get fearful, I get angry instead. Yeah. And then, but then with anger, I control anger more easily than fear. If that makes sense. Yeah. So
you have more.
Yeah. When I'm
agency.
Yeah. When I'm like in a spot what makes me usually afraid, I get angry instead, and then I can just avoid the anger because I just push it down somewhere.
Oh, good.
And then and that comes out later. But
yeah, right.
So that's usually what I do. I don't know. I try not to. I just avoid it like the plague, all that stuff, But I do things all the time that make me afraid, or would used to, I should say. But I just don't give it that power anymore, to just let it control the dumbest things in my life, know, because it was just so stupid for like very long to be so afraid of the dumbest things, and then having to look back and being like, I'm doing these things now with no problem, but I wasted years of my life not doing that thing, or doing it but like half-assing it because I was afraid to not commit. And my thought process is if I do something, I just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not this whole thing of like, so it's
Right.
like if I don't edit a video, if I like start a video to edit, I finish the video edit.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like, pause this, come back to it later. It's like, no, I'm getting it done right now.
Yeah.
I can't not get it done right now. So I just fully jump in on it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Oh, I'm glad that works for you. I love the language you used. Give it power.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because we really do.
Mm-hmm.
We give things power. We give people power over us, right? If you called me a dumbass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that hurt me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's because I gave you the power,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's because I believe in some way that I am a dumbass.
Yeah.
And I let you saying those words impact me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a choice, right?
Yeah.
And we can feel like we don't have a choice, but the fact is we do.
Mm-hmm.
We have all these beliefs and narratives going on that are ultimately unproductive because they give others control over us,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're being a designated driver last night. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that where you wanted to be?
What, me be a designated driver?
Well, I mean, at the bar.
Do I want to be at the bar?
Did you want to be at the bar?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great.
No, I did. I mean, I like going out with my friends sometimes. Is
Yeah.
it difficult to be around like drinks and stuff all the time? 100%. But do I really let it like take control of me? No. I just let it ride, Just keep moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like last night was fine. Like I usually have substitutes for that stuff. Wasn't there. That stuff wasn't there that night for drinking. It was just pool. Pool's my substitute for
right.
instead of drinking.
They don't have pool tables there?
Yeah.
Oh.
They did. They're all being used by fucking frat guys. And I can't handle them.
No, you've expressed before that you have no appetite.
I have no appetite for them. The guy came up to me, and my friend Kiskin
Yes.
took my hat I gave him my hat. He was wearing my hat, and then I was like, give it back. I was gonna take it back and put it back on my head, and he's like, oh, like teasing me about it. This guy comes over and tries to fucking grab the hat out of his hand like an asshole and give it back to me, and I was like, fucking get out of here. What's your problem? And he was like, he was the one I'm like, you don't fucking know him. Why the fuck are you here? Like, oh yeah, I was not.
No, right.
It was this guy. He just thinks he can just walk up on a situation. Like,
Yeah.
get out of here, dude. You think I can't handle that guy? Like, if I had a problem? Like, come on. It was just so stupid. And he was like,
I can hear how agitated you are.
it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Right.
Because for them to sit there and then try to interject on him and try to like push up on him of like not getting his face, but like kind of like physically grabbing something out of his hand,
Right.
or tried to.
Right.
I would have lost it.
Yeah.
I would have. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
and I think that losing it
Mm-hmm.
is kind of what happens when I push down my anger.
Mm-hmm.
when I bury my feelings, that's
Yeah.
exactly what happens. I am on a hair trigger.
Yeah.
It's like, and anything can set me off.
Mm-hmm.
Like being around people, who are doing behaviors that I'm not into, right? That kind of stuff. Cracking jokes at me, like any of that would have just, and I didn't. I haven't gotten in a fight since middle school, but I would absolutely slash people with
Well, this
my
other
tongue.
guy goes up to these girls I'm with at the place, like my friends, and he's a frat guy too. He starts talking to them, and he's just dropping the N-word constantly
Nice.
to them, and he's the whitest guy in the room. Like,
That's what needs to happen.
it's like you turn off the lights, it's like a light show with his skin. That's how white he was.
Okay.
So it's like this guy's neon white, and like he's saying the N-word
Fantastic.
to these girls, and they're like, you can't say that. Like,
Yeah.
he's like, what? And then he said it again, and I just was sitting there like, and they came up to me, and they saw that I was literally about to walk over there and like say something,
Yeah.
whatever I was gonna say, you know what I mean?
Why?
And they said to me to not bother.
Yeah.
That they'll handle it.
Yep.
Or that they handled it. And I was like, it doesn't look like you did, but sure.
Good. I mean, yes.
People
And so
know when they
alcohol
go
was
out.
it-
People know when I go out that like I'm always ready for like the worst. Like I'm just like I'm itching for whatever, and like I'm game for whatever kind of thing. And that's just because that's how I am with these places. Because these places, I know I have fun with my friends, but I know it makes me angry too when I go to these places all the time.
Right.
And
Right.
and I know it gets me angry, and I just have fun with it, you know. So
you know, when I drink with my friends, it's never to the. It's like I can't remember the last time it was to the point of belligerence or any of that nonsense. But here's what I know about drinking, right? When I drink to a point, I'm a lot more likely to make bad choices. And I think you know that too. Like intuitively, you know that.
yeah, that's why I don't drink.
Right. It's right. But you are surrounding yourself with people who are drinking. You know.
Yeah,
and
it's great.
It's great. You're being facetious. Like, I see you, man. I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I put myself in those situations. I know.
You do.
I hate it. I hate the people there, and the vibe of the whole.
Right.
I know it, but I just like hanging out with my friends in those places.
You know, I think there's also something to you being a protector, right? For Kiskin, for instance, right? Like nobody can touch him. No, like that would not be okay by you.
Yeah,
And
because if
like
that
this
guy
guy
grabbed the hat out of his hand,
Yeah,
that
it
would
was
have been
over.
raps right then and there. I've been like, "What the fuck is your problem?" And the guy would be like, "What?"
Right.
And I'd be like, "I don't care." Like he was like, "I was
Yeah.
helping you out," and I'm like, "I don't give." You think this scrawny blonde guy, I can't handle him? Like,
Right.
I'm playing the game with him. He knows I can get the hat back anytime. I'm just playing the game with him because it's funny. And you think that because you had a few beers in you that you think you know the situation when you don't.
Right.
Douchebag.
Yeah. Well,
And that guy that went up to the girls came up to me 2 weeks ago at the bar and tried to talk to me. And he was just like, his name, I'm not gonna say his real name because I remember his real name, but I'll say my name's Drew.
Yeah.
And what I said in response was nice. And that was it. I was like, nice. He was expecting me to say my name back and for me to have like some special bond and for him to invite me to like back to his frat place later. But I just literally was like, nice. He's like, you like all the babes here tonight? And I was like, nope. And he was like,
end of convo.
he's like, okay. And he walked away.
Hey, at least he got the hint.
Oh, he got the hint quick. Like there was no, if he didn't get the hint, I was going to like throw a brick at his head. And that was probably the fastest way to get it to him.
Goodness.
But yeah, that guy was such a douche that night and 2 weeks ago. He just, and he's always there. So it's always great. So
I can't help but think you're asking for it. And I am mildly concerned about that.
No.
Mildly concerned.
I don't pick the fight. I never pick a fight.
Pick the fight, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't always come out in the wash who was okay, like who started the fight or who, you know, if you were seen as the aggressor. I don't know. It's just like a.
No, I don't. I never pick it, nor am I ever aggressive.
Okay.
It's usually just I'm plainly just don't like you. I just don't talk to you.
Right.
And if you get angry and you get upset and you start doing things, then I'll match that same energy back. But I'm not. I don't start it. It's kind of this thing of what.
I like. Oh my God. All right. So let's make a short list, right, of things that can prevent you from walking, right?
From walking?
From graduating.
Yeah.
Like what can get in the way of your future.
Yeah,
all right?
sure.
Okay. Like,
I'm going out tonight potentially.
Fantastic.
Because this guy at a frat was like, he literally, a guy I do not like came up to me yesterday and was like, he saw me walking around campus. He's like, yo, man. And I'm like, who are you? And he's like, you going to Blarney's tomorrow night? Which is Friday. We're doing this thing there from like 6 to 9. And it's like for seniors that are graduating, gonna be free stuff and free this. Then you should come by. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll show up. I'll be there. And he's like, great, can't wait to see you there. I was like, can't wait to see you there too. I don't like him. I hate this guy so much. He cheats on his girlfriend all the time.
Why are you going?
Because I just want to go.
Why are you going?
I just want to be there.
Oh my God.
I know.
You're hilarious, dude. I don't even know. Like, I'm glad that next Thursday you'll be at game night. It's gonna be cool. We're doing a draft thing. I'll tell you about it afterwards.
A draft thing?
Yeah, a draft thing.
What does that mean?
Well, when you play Magic, you can get the Magic cards in booster packs. Right. I'm saying this more for the benefit of the listeners. And so everyone sits around with 3 booster packs, and we each open one. Yeah. All right. And we look through those 15 cards there, 14 cards, depending on the pack, and pick one.
Are we playing Magic?
That's one of the things that's going on next week.
Okay.
Right. I know we're gonna do Binding Isaac.
I don't know how to play Magic.
I know.
I just don't know how to play.
Well, that's fine.
No, I'm just being honest.
That's okay.
I'm continuing your thing.
Yeah. No, okay. No. So the Kyla brought a few more of her friends last week, and so we're gonna do something when we're playing Magic. We're gonna do this thing, as opposed to, because like some of the decks that we already have constructed are unbalanced. So this is a way to play in a more balanced, way. So it's like in the Binding Isaac game, everyone basically has access to the same card pool, right? Yeah. Like there's the loot pile and the treasure pile. Yeah. So so everyone has access to the same cards. That is not the case with the way that we've currently been playing Magic. So it gets a little unbalanced, and I get a lot of heat for winning all the time. So
we'll have Kiskin bring his deck, and he won't win.
There we go. Oh yeah, did you just?
I'm not even joking.
You just dropping the gauntlet on me?
It's not even a joke. Like,
it's not a joke.
He has a deck in his thing that if he gets like 3 cards, it's infinite combo, and you literally can't do a turn. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. All right. It makes me so angry when I play with him. When he's I don't know how to play. I don't know how to play, but I like play. Yeah. I play the play, but like 2 other people are there playing too that really know how to play, and they are like in the same boat as me. Like they look like beginners like me when we play against Kiskin. It's like that bad.
I mean, he's welcome. He's welcome to come.
I talked to him about it. He said he might.
Yeah. So. Okay.
But yeah, we were saying like about
I'm glad you're coming next week, because however many fewer times you can surround yourself with things and environments and people that just piss you off. I think the richer life you'll live, just all told, right? Like, I mean, it's my 2 cents. Maybe you don't agree. I don't want you to not be around your friends. Oh, no. I'm just like, I know you have a good time with your friends, and why invite the scenario?
It's the, how do I explain it? It's the thrill of it. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's almost that thrill of like, when you go somewhere and you're like, something could happen here. And it's like, it's that thrill of like, I'm just like, always like, really like amped up and like, this is gonna be fun. Like, if that makes sense or not. Yeah, but right. It's just, I just live, that's like,
it's a thrill.
Yeah, it makes you feel alive almost.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
I mean, it does make sense.
Because like,
I mean, my adrenaline is surging just hearing you talk about it. Yeah.
Right. Because me talking about it doesn't get me like going. It's like being in that. It's being in that environment, knowing like at any point something. And when I went there, apparently a guy like grabbed some girl and like threw a glass at a bartender like 2 minutes before I got there. Jeez. And I was like, oh,
you missed it.
I missed it. Because I would have helped throwing that guy out of there. You kidding me?
Yeah,
I would have fucking
right.
But why? But why?
But why?
But why what?
Why involve yourself? Why?
Because that guy's being a terrible person.
Okay, sure. But don't they have people to deal with that? I think they do.
Yeah, they have bouncers.
Yeah, they have bouncers.
But it's just that it's that whole thing of, I don't like seeing people put in spots like that, and if I can help out in any way of like getting rid of that, then I'll be there to help them out with that. But I don't know, it's that thrill of just being alive a little bit of
Sure.
of like that. I know it sounds so bad. Like, I know how bad it sounds. Like, I'm not recommending this to anyone, nor am I recommending it for myself, but this is what I do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Like it's difficult for me to not, and it hurt none do it though well, right? And what I'm seeing here is you're inviting a scenario where there's a greater risk of you being hurt or someone being hurt. Right. And so that's what challenges me about it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not like, I don't want to control you. I don't want to tell you how to live your life. Right. Like, I guess there's an opportunity to explore what you really get out of that. Right.
Yeah.
You know, last time we talked, you were vocal about how, it might have been 2 times ago, you felt bad about how you expressed your anger at the way that the way that your friend was being.
Oh yeah.
Right? You didn't hurt anybody, you didn't punch anybody, right?
Nope.
But you got loud, right? And this a roommate of yours felt really challenged by how loud you were, right? Well, ultimately, it resulted in, I think a positive resolution.
Yeah.
Right? Your friend that you had to address seems to have turned things around, really appreciates you as a friend, has kind of taken what you had to say to heart, right? And questioned some things in his life and made some changes, right? So, like that, there you were in a scenario where you're surrounded by your friends. And yes, alcohol was part of the picture there too.
But not for
right?
me.
Not for, no,
Yeah.
but it was there. I'm not saying you.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
And so you don't like how you responded to, the scenario there at home amongst your friends. Now let's change the environment, right? What would that have looked like if the whole thing happened at the bar?
At the bar?
Yeah.
Of me doing that at the bar?
Right.
Oh, I would have gotten in a bar fight.
I think so.
Oh, I'm not saying that definitely would not have happened. Half the time, like I said, but that was different.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean? That was way different.
With alcohol, that same stuff could happen again, right?
True.
A guy comes up, targets Kiskin, right? Because that was the triggering factor, right? And you let him have it verbally, right? That just about happened here. Hey, you can't take people's hats and tease them with it, right? And you would have gone at the guy.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it's worth exploring. I think one of the things I've been walking around with and meditating on is self-delusion. And just really wondering, like, questioning some of the narratives that I tell myself, right? Like, relationships are supposed to go like this, or my success, my work is supposed to look like this. And I think it's helped. It's helped me to explore that narrative, to say, is what I'm feeling about my work, my love, my relationship with my kids, is this, look, why am I feeling this?
Yeah.
Because all I'm actually doing is subconsciously shoulding on myself, right? Saying, oh, my relationship should be like this, or I should have, should have done something different in getting my kids to clean up the lawn, right? I should be doing this with my work. And the question is, why?
Yeah.
What does that really bring me? What does the act of shoulding on myself bring me? And then why is what I'm saying true at all? in your example, why is going to the bar and being around people I don't like, doing activities I don't like, right? Not all the activities you don't like. You like pool, you like hanging out with your friends, but the other stuff, the drinking, the N-wording, what about the girls, man? And this whole objectification, promiscuity vibe, which is not your thing.
No.
Why is that the choice? And that's just been useful for me to reflect on. I have had my journeys. So I don't know what the right story is, and if there is a right story, I don't know what it is, but you'll figure it out. But in my love of you and my care for you, I offer that as an exploration.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
can I talk to you about God?
I'm religious.
I know. I heard that about you.
Yeah.
You shared a couple episodes ago, and I really appreciate this, where your grandfather was a deacon, and in his passing, you felt as though you could reconnect with Christ, and you wanted to. You've since become more and more devout in your practice, right? What does that feel like? I think there are listeners out there who don't know how to engage with Christ. They don't know how to seek out a higher power. They don't get what it might offer to them. And I think you, in going through, let's call it a recent transition, could offer some insight in that regard.
Yeah.
And maybe just sort of tell the story, right? So after your grandfather's passing, how did you reconnect? What did you do? And if this is not something you want to talk about, that's okay.
No, I mean, I'll talk about it a little bit. I don't want to go too far.
Sure, man.
He died, and then my grandmother, she wanted to go through a bunch of his stuff and everything to like figure out kind of like what he like was giving me and other people and everything. And she gave me his Bible as like a parting gift kind of thing, as like here you go, he probably would want you to have this.
Okay.
And I would say, okay, sure, cool. And I started reading it, but I wasn't reading it necessarily. I was reading the notes he left within the books, because he had like all these note cards stuffed in the pages. So I'd read all the note cards and stuff, and then he like marked like on these note cards like his favorite verses and stuff. And don't ask to quote the verses. I don't remember the verses on the top of my head.
Not about to.
All right, good. But then I read some of the verses, and I felt like that got to me a little bit. And then I just started like, I don't know. I started going to church with my godmother a bit. I started talking to her a little bit about it. And then, because she's religious, but none of my whole family is not, except for my godmother. My whole family is not religious at all. Yeah. And the people that say they are my family, they're liars. They're not.
Okay.
What?
No, that's strong.
They're not good ones if they do believe. That's my opinion, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not perfect at all, but
right.
I don't know.
Well, I think there's something there. So, what is it to be good? Like effectively religious, from your perspective?
You be submissive to God, and be submissive to what He wants for you, and just try to listen out to like what feels really good in your heart, because He might not give you like signs necessarily of like a neon light outside your door or like a storm saying not to go outside, but it's more like a thing of like how you feel in your heart, really.
Okay.
And you can talk to people do it differently all the time. Like I talk to myself sometimes, but I don't ever really do it out loud. But yeah, I don't know. And I just became a knight of the Columbus and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's like, I know I'm not perfect.
No,
I'm probably one of the least perfect Christians you're gonna meet and stuff compared to like other people, and I know that.
Yeah, I try not to compare myself. I'm I'm a little bit like I Liam. I think your journey is interesting, incredible, and the fact that someone you were so close to, right, led you back to religion. I'm interested to know what your connection to God, right, your submission to Jesus means for you, and I just really I'm honored that you're open to this conversation, even in part, right? But that gift of the Bible with the deacon's notes in it, right? Your grandfather's notes, that's like a relic. Like that's a really awesome thing to sort of end up with, right? Because this is, his work and musings and the things that he, just I don't know, really valued from the Bible, right? From the teaching of Christ. It's the New Testament, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the American Bible.
I
think that's what it is.
Okay.
That's the name of it, I should say.
Yeah. That's a really cool thing to have. I want to relate to you. I was given my grandmother's diaries, like this many books of diaries.
Yeah,
and there's been a part of me that has resisted looking into them, right, digging into them, and my father's older sister, right? So the firstborn, she's like, oh, it's, a lot of mundane stuff. Like, this is what she ate for breakfast this day and this day. And I know there's more in there. I know there's more, and I haven't delved in. And I don't really know what that's about. Like, I have a picture of my grandmother in my place. I look at her, I say hi to her every single day. I want to explore what's in there, and for some reason I haven't yet, and maybe I wasn't ready. I don't know, but I'm gonna.
Yeah.
And so for you to have this item that I think relates to that, I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely I'm pretty happy I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not one to talk about my family that much, so
I didn't want to get into your family.
No, that's fine. I'm just
So church is a weekly Sunday thing, or
yeah, I haven't gone in a while. I have to go again. It's been months since I've gone, to be honest.
My father was raised Catholic and went to Catholic high school and all this stuff. And he feels closer to God. He used to go to, he was an altar boy, all this stuff. And he feels closer to God out in the woods, right? This is where he works. This is his life, right? He's got a firewood business, and has for the past 44 years, right? So it's interesting to me to hear you say I should go to church, as if that, and I'm not questioning, but what I'm hearing is where I am has to do with my connection to God. Is that? Do you feel that? Or
yeah,
I mean,
I'm more feel it when I'm alone and like outside. So I go to church, it's fine. But it just doesn't do it for me. Because my mind doesn't sit well just standing in a place like that for hours. You know what I mean?
So why do I
go?
Why do you do it? Like, see, so the going to church, especially if you're not feeling it, right? That, for me, I see as religiosity, right? It's like I'm doing an act because there's some narrative that says this is what good Christians do, right? Where what you just said is I feel my connection to God, when I'm alone, when I'm in quiet contemplation, whatever.
Yeah.
So what does going to church do for you?
It's just because I feel like you have to go. That's kind of it, really.
Okay.
And it's nothing. It doesn't really do anything for me. Like I feel good when I go and
okay.
afterwards and stuff. So, but it's just like it feels like I've done something good. You know what I mean? When I go, I have that like weird feeling in my body. But at the same time, my mind wanders the entire time. You know what I mean? I can't sit there forever and listen forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always look around when I talk to people. I don't like do eye contact and stuff, and I just feel like it's so very personal, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's not how I handle stuff. So when I talk to people, I always look around. I'm never like one to like stare as I talk. So, or like look at them when I talk.
Right.
So, I don't know. That's just how I am with things.
Yeah.
I'm like messing with stuff, like messing with this wire the entire time, or my phone and stuff. Yep. Like just how I am.
Right.
But I'm still listening. It's just my brain. It's just ADHD. Just runs. So.
Okay.
I don't know. That makes I don't know. That makes sense. What I'm saying.
Do you notice yourself fidgeting when you're in quiet contemplation, like when you feel connected to God and you're all by yourself?
Mm-hmm. I fidget all the time.
Yeah.
Like I just fidget a lot.
Yeah.
I fidget when I'm stressed mostly though. So, yeah, I fidget a lot when I'm stressed.
Are you feeling stressed?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is it me?
No, I just get stressed talking about this stuff. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
It's not a problem. Like,
okay.
I'll deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just this thing that stresses me because I feel bad talking about it sometimes versus good. It just feels like that I'm like sort of like being an imposter, you know what I mean, of something.
Yeah. I do know.
So, because people don't know a lot that I'm religious and stuff. Like people didn't know I smoked cigarettes. People didn't know I like had a drinking issue. People don't know a lot of that stuff about me because I don't make it a big thing of myself, right, or like show people that side of me too much because I like it a lot when people don't know a lot about me, Okay. And it's just how I am. It's like I'm always open to talk about whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. Just stuff like about me I have issues with. Because I feel like the more people know about me, the more you get judged, for certain things.
Sure.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, because my friends, when they hear I'm religious, they just be like, really? You don't act like it. I'm like, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know.
I think spirituality, I think sexuality, right? These things are intensely personal, right? And it's really about you and the other, right? If you're talking about spirituality, right? What is the entity that you worship, believe in, feel connected to, submit to? In sexuality, right? What are your partners? And what are the norms within that relationship and the level of intimacy that you've attained? Like all of that is really, really personal. And that it would be questioned by someone outside of the relationship, I think is just so backwards.
I don't disagree. But I think people are just more inherently... I was talking to someone recently, and they were saying that like when back in the day when you were kids, it's like you always had that one kid you looked to when you played baseball, and you're playing baseball in the backyard with all just your friends and stuff, and you look at that one kid and they just be like, "Is this guy out?" And like, "You're out," and they look to the one kid and he's like, "He's out." You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they'd be like, "Yeah, he's out." Yeah, and then but nowadays it just feels like everyone thinks they have a sort of input that matters. When in reality, you should be like looking to one person for the input and everything.
Yeah.
And noticed more of myself that I, within my friend group, or as I am as an individual, I feel as though I try to give more of that, like, he's out kind of vibe. Like, I try to be like, yeah, this is how this is supposed to go.
Right.
This is how it's meant to be, like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a lot of the people are just like not like that, you know, that I'm friends with. They're just like, they always feel like that their opinion's the best opinion when their opinion is completely stupid. And it's not because the opinion is like, is something I don't agree with. It's like that opinion is objectively dumb. Like it makes no sense. You sound like an asshole. Like,
okay.
Like you don't make any sense right now, you know? And they're like, yeah, no, I know. I just wanted to say it. I'm like, so why'd you say it? Like, it sometimes you keep your mouth shut, you know? And just like listen to people that actually have your back or like know what objectively is correct.
Yeah.
Because I'm friends with guys that just say the dumbest shit about girls and the dumbest things about things, and it just bothers me. I'm just like, you know that's someone I know, right? Yeah. Why'd you say that?
Yeah.
And then I give them like that whole like look of like, don't do that again. And they kind of learn that like it doesn't fly. That doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
So there's you're kind of coming back to an earlier point about you know, like not religious people or people who say that they're religious and they actually aren't, and people who, I think there's a lot of I think we need to discover how to explore. Like we need to figure out how to learn what's appropriate behavior, what are the norms, right? And how to do religion. You know, I certainly don't know. And I think, you know, my own spiritual connection and exploration is definitely my own. But the observation is that folks don't know how to ask the question. It seems like there's an uncertainty around how to learn or where to look, right, for who's out. There's just a lot of noise these days. And I don't think that's necessarily new, but I think there is a lot. And so in getting it wrong and being willing to stumble forward, right? You talk about yourself and making a lot of mistakes, but you're stumbling forward, right? You're committed to, you're moving in a certain direction. You're saying, I want to be, I'm a servant of Christ, right? I'm, and my word's not yours, so just forgive me. I'm Christian and I'm going to live my life by, you know, these tenets, right? I'm going to live in this way. The same thing being true about how to conduct ourselves in public, right? How to be an adult, right? A responsible human being around other people, how to care for other, I don't know, how to be considerate of other people's needs, right? There seems to be a lack of training or faith in the initial training around how to behave. And so in this questioning around religiosity, right? Think about times that I've heard folks have a crisis of faith, right? Maybe they've lost someone important in their life. And just like your grandfather's death flipped where you were with religion, right? If you were religious and then your grandfather died, right? Would you have had this crisis of faith, perhaps, right? Where you're like, you know what, God, like, if you were going to save anyone, you'd have saved my grandfather. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
And living in this ego of should and, you know, the way that, I understand. Just really curious about that. So I appreciate you being game for the conversation.
Yeah, of course.
Is that the cast?
That is the cast. We have to go because someone's coming in.
Yeah, no, I understand.
We're wrapping up right now. Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. All right.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Let's keep this in there.
All right.
All right, man. Hey, thanks a bunch.
Yeah, of course. Bye.